speaking up is how I wanted to take that journey forward. It was my learning, probably my calling, where I felt like even if by speaking up, if I was able to impact just one life, the purpose would be served. Where in 2022, I never imagined that today, if you asked me in 2014, would I be sitting here having this conversation with you about the incredible work the foundation has done? No. At that point, it was really about just doing one interview on a national television or one interview just to be able to reach out to as many people as possible and share my experience. And then when I did that, it didn't feel to me like the journey ended there. It felt like just the beginning. It felt like there was so much more to say and so much more to do. I give all the credit to my mother for recognizing the signs and symptoms. Because it just happened out of the blue. I was on a career high, everything was going well, so there was no reason or no apparent reason why I should have felt the way I was feeling. But I would break down, for no reason. I would feel, there were days when I just didn't want to wake up. I would just sleep because sleep for me was an escape. I was suicidal at times. And so, having to deal with all of that, and when my parents live in Bangalore, and every time they sort of visited me, even now when they visit me, I always put on a brave front, like everything is okay, and you always want to show your parents that you're fine, and so I was doing one of those things of like, I'm fine, until, they were leaving one day, they were going back to Bangalore, and I broke down, and my mother asked me the usual hygiene questions like, is it a boyfriend? Is it someone at work? Has something happened? And I just didn't have answers. It was none of these things. And it just came from a really empty, hollow place. And she knew instantly. And I think that for me was God sent. And I really hope, and I think that's one of the reasons why I set up the foundation, for us to be able to create that awareness, to be sensitive to the people around us, to look around us. If someone's feeling low, don't just pat them on the back and say, hey, you know what, it's going to be okay, or, hey, you'll be fine. Or just listen to this music or play some upbeat music and think that everything's going to be okay. If you feel, and this is for everyone in this room, if you feel for a prolonged period of time, which is more than 3 weeks, if you feel a feeling of low or sadness, it is recommended that you see a psychiatrist or at least see a counselor. And my theory is always, I'd rather be overcautious than not. It's the same way when you have, a stomach bug, or, you go and see a general practitioner.
So Deepika, the question is, if you were not an actor, what would you be?
I would have probably been an interior designer. Yeah, that's something I've always been very, very passionate
As somebody
about.
who's just bought a new apartment who's very excited. It's like, you get blue curtain.
I'm happy to render free services. That's how passionate I am about interior design. I've always been, even as a kid. And at one point, I did have this plan to go to some design school abroad. Wow. And yeah.